So this has been designed for Australia?
Absolutely, it's been designed for right-hand drive markets, such as the UK
okay.
and Australia and Japan and these sorts of
okay.
places. That's right. So, just move this. Let's have some car over here, and I'm just going to dangle it like that. So, it's along like this. And that should, we've just found that doing it this way, we got a better sound quality.
So what's the American flag doing over there?
The American flag where?
On the corner.
Oh, I've not got a clue. Must be some Americans. Okay, so
what's this? That's park.
Yes, that's this. There isn't a park on this, so that's neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to drive,
okay,
you flick it down into the middle, and it automatically goes in there, and then you're in. It's very, very.
Boost.
Yeah, that's
and that's where it sits.
It sits there. That's right. So that's now
It's
saying
on one,
auto.
right, yeah.
Now watch this. If I push this just to the side, this AM is auto manual. So if I do that, you see that all the word auto disappears.
Yes.
And then you're controlling the gears by going like that to go into second gear. So going this way to change up.
All right, and then
up.
okay, yep.
Okay. Or if we flick it to this side again, it puts it back into auto.
Okay. Yep.
And you can do that when you're driving. That's fine. Here are the windows, if you want to get the windows. We've got a City thing that we've got on at the moment. We've switched that off.
So what's the City for?
City makes the steering a bit lighter, makes it easier to take tight corners at low speed and to navigate into car parking spots and that sort of stuff. Eco allows you to run the car, it sort of restrains a little bit so that it uses less fuel. That's
So that's
idea.
more for...
if you want to save fuel.
On the highway?
Well, yeah, sort of.
Because what do you save in the city when you're stopping and going?
Well, the other thing it's got this start-stop. So if you're in traffic and you're starting and stopping, if you stop and then you put your foot on the brake, the engine cuts out completely. And then when you lift your foot off the brake, the engine starts again to save fuel.
Is this a petrol car?
It is petrol, yeah.
But it's not electric? It doesn't switch?
It's not electric. No, it's not electric. It's just petrol. But it's a tiny engine. It's 1.2. And it's called this one is the Pop, which is the bottom of the range one. Yeah, that's basically it. All right, so what I'm going to do then is in a second I'm going to hit the record button.
Okay. So how do I change this mirror first?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Press it so it's pointing. It's the next one down. That's right, all the way, and then you should just be able to move it around. If you just waggle that around, you'll see it moving. Is it moving? You push it one way or the other. You got to push it. No, hang on a minute. Yeah, that's it. You got it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll hit the record button in a minute.
Hold on, I'm going to get this.
And then what we'll do is we'll just go for a drive, and I'll ask you a couple of questions, and if there's any gaps in conversation, I'll ask you another question, okay?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little bit about the car as well, and if you want to ask me any questions about the car, I'll answer them if I know the answers.
How do I get this up?
Is that you've got to have it on one of the little arrows for it to do anything. So turn it so that little white stripes. That's right. That's it. Okay.
So that holds it in place.
Yep, that's right. And then if you want to move this one around, you flick it to the next one, and is that all right?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
That's
I can see the cars coming.
Right. Okay. Now it's Alfa Flores. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll just introduce you and me.
Yeah. Now.
Yep.
How do I take this?
Lift it up, and then down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to hit the record button, and then we'll just have a little chat, and we'll go for a drive wherever you want to go.
Can we go up a hill?
Yeah, you do what you like. It's fine. As long as you don't take it cross country, that's fine.
Oh.
Okay, so here we go. Perhaps that was recording. Let's try again. Press that button. And it's recording or it's not recording?
Oh, okay. So this is the bottom. So do we get going up the hill?
Yeah, if you like to.
No, did we get?
No, we didn't. We didn't. No, but that's okay. I've mentally recorded what you said there. Okay, so here we are in the ItalianCar Fiat Panda Florist test drive with Roslyn from Alfa Flores in Wynnum, and Roslyn has taken this for a little bit of a spin. Due to technical hitches, we weren't actually able to video that, but we're giving it another go now. So here we are. This is a Fiat Panda Pop 1.2 litre auto gearbox, and we're currently driving around in a Manly area up in Brisbane. And Rosalind, you're just now going to have to encapsulate all the thoughts that you had that we completely missed out on in the past 15 minutes. So from a florist perspective, what are your thoughts after having driven it around now for a little bit in terms of how suitable it is for as a florist's means of transport?
The
boot. Oh, the boot. Sorry, I thought it said boo.
No,
okay, the boot. Yeah.
The boot has got space for tall flowers, tall arrangement, and I could put a couple of arrangements in there, and then 4 or 5 bunches. That would be more than adequate.
Okay.
It feels a very compact car.
Is that a good thing?
Yes.
Okay.
In city driving, that's a good thing.
Yep.
It's smooth. The eco control seems to have. It feels like the brakes are on when the eco control is on. Change of gears, you can feel when that's happening. But it's a tiny little car. There's room in the back for passengers. You sit up straight, which is good. The seat is very solid. Both the back and the horizontal part.
They've apparently done something with these seats to make them more breathable. I can't remember what it is, but they've done something that makes them more comfortable to sit in.
But
in
it's
a hot
solid.
climate.
It's
Yeah, it is
solid.
actually. It is.
Yeah.
It's not a squishy seat, is it?
Yeah, which I would think would be good for posture. And it's square. The seating is square, so your back is right in. Your tail is right into the seat, which is setting your back up straight then as well. The brakes are sharp, but that's something that's a matter of just getting used to.
Yeah. And what else have we got here? Yeah, consumption is, what were we sitting at? You have to press that little button again to see what the consumption is. Yeah, that's it. Don't press it again, that's fine. There were 6.3 litres per 100 kilometres.
But on the freeway we got down to about 3.5, and it ranged between about 3.5 and up to 5.
Yeah, and I'll probably do a test before I take this back where I'll fill it up and find out how many litres we used as against the kilometres we drove. So we'll find out.
The boot with the seats lying down would be great for picking up flowers loosely. I'm not sure how it would go for a box of flowers, but I think I've got a box at the shop, so we can try. We can see how it goes.
Well, after all the positive comments that you've made, and Leah was pretty positive as well. Looks like Fiat will be selling thousands of these to florists. The big question is, how many florists are there in Australia?
Well, I think I should be one street up. I think there's about 7,000.
Oh, okay.
But there will be a lot more if we get rid of Coles and Woolworths selling flowers and supermarkets.
Okay then, we'll do that next week. We'll ban them.
Well, that's a good idea,
Okay.
because next they'll be selling cars,
Well, probably will be.
and that's not a good thing. It's creating a monopoly that we don't need.
Well, yes, that's for another video.
I just thought I'd mention it.
But the other thing I thought about this car is, since it's slightly funky looking, and it's sort of got nice flat square size, you could put your branding all over it. You see, you could brand it Allura Florist.
Yeah, we did discuss the colour of the interior being black, and in Australia where it's hot, the black attracts the heat.
We did. And I think this car, I think it's this one, I think this is around oh no, sorry, I think it's about $16,000 brand new.
Right.
Just to give you a guide.
Shall I quickly run across and get a box?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so pop it into neutral, put this handbrake on, and then up we go. Yeah, just nip over and get a box and we'll have a look. Now, let's see if that's recorded. It's just beeping at you to tell you that you've stopped, just in case you weren't aware. Okay. Say something, Josh.
Something.
Testing, 1, 2, 3 is normally what you say. Go on.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, hi folks, David Bateson here from ItalianCar. I'm taking the Alfa Romeo MiTo, the progression variant, back to the dealership after having had it for about a week. And I'm just looking at how much this camera is burbling around there. I'll have to see whether the stabilisation works. Anyway, look, it's been fun having this car for the past week. As a matter of fact, this isn't the first one we've had. We've driven, and this is the Royal We really, we've driven the Alfa MiTo base model, which is just called the Alfa MiTo. That's the one with the revolutionary new 900cc 2-cylinder engine in it, married to a 6-speed manual gearbox. We've driven the Distinctive, which is only available in auto. That uses a 1.4 litre engine, 4-cylinder turbocharged multi-air it's called, as do the other variants. So we've got the Progression, 2 versions of the Progression, one auto, one manual. Then we've got the Distinctive, which is the top of the range, only available in auto. So what's our verdict on this car? Look, what can I say? It's a beautiful car, looks lovely on the outside. Went to a local Italian restaurant a few days ago, and the Italian, obviously, owner of the restaurant said, "Is that your Alfa Romeo MiTo out the front?" To which, of course, the answer was, "Yes, it is." So, you know, I dare say he wouldn't have said the same thing. He wouldn't have said, "Is that your Hyundai Getz out the front?" Why? Yeah, so it certainly gets a lot of looks. It's a lovely looking car, and you know, we're biased because we're ItalianCar, aren't we? But yeah, we think that's what it is. Now, the interesting thing is that the price point of this car, the MiTo, I suppose if you think back to the older variants which are no longer around, like the 147, I had a 147 about 6 or 7 years ago, and I paid $25,000 for that second hand. And this car, brand new, 3-year warranty, all the trimmings, starts at $22,500, and the top of the range one, the Distinctive, is $28,000. So that doesn't even go above $30,000. So that's quite a lot of flash for not a lot of cash, really. So that's definitely the upside of it all, and I like the car a lot. I do have my preferences, and so does my colleague Pete Accini, in terms of the ones that we'd like. Now, let's start at the bottom. The 0.9 litre 2-cylinder is a wonder of technology. However, it's not really for me yet. It sort of doesn't behave like a normal petrol engine. It revs more highly. It sounds, even though it's not a 2-stroke or anything like that, it's a 4-stroke. It sounds very different, and you feel like you have to flog it a little bit to get it to work. It takes a little bit of getting used to. The other downside with it is that if Alfa is meant to be a sporty car with a sporty heritage and all that sort of stuff, then you know, a top speed of 187 kilometers an hour and a 0 to 100 of about 11 something seconds, you know, you're not really going to win any battles. Not that you should be, you know, having any battles, but you're not. So it's not really sporty. However, if you like to look really smart, which you certainly will do, and you want to save the planet, then absolutely, because the 0.9 litre engine, according to Alfa, is the quantity manufactured petrol engine, the most not most fuel efficient, but with the lowest CO2 output globally. So you'd be driving around knowing that you're saving the planet. But it doesn't actually, you know, it doesn't say that on the outside of the car, so nobody would know apart from you. But at least you'd know. So, so that's that one. Now the next one up is the Progression, which is the 1.4 engine, and we have driven the Auto. Well, this is the Auto. This is the Progression Auto. So we've had this for a week, and you know what? I haven't really warmed to the Auto transmission in this model, either with the Distinctive or with the Progression. It seems to be a little hesitant when you pull away. I mean, I know some of that is down to turbo lag, but it seems a bit hesitant when you pull away, and it also seems to, well, it revs up to 3,500 or something before changing normally, but it sounds like the engine's racing. Now you've got this little button system that Alfa have developed, which apparently will also be in the 4C, the new sports car, which is the Alfa, I forget what it's called, the Dynamic, I think it's called, the Alfa Dynamic little button. So you've got 3 settings there, DNA, that's it, DNA. D stands for dynamic, so what that does is it tightens everything up. It makes changes to the gearbox, makes changes to apparently the suspension as well, a couple of other bits and pieces to make it drive in a more dynamic fashion. You flick that back to N, which stands for natural, and it just drives normally, and then you flick it back again to A, which stands for all weather, and then you can drive in all weathers. Having driven it, once you've driven it in dynamic, you really don't want to drive it in anything else, so it sort of just permanently stays in dynamic. But the downside, of course, is that your fuel consumption is going to be higher as you race around the place, but there we go, such is life. Talking about fuel consumption, I'm looking at the moment at the little fuel meter here, and 7.6 litres per 100 kilometres is what we're doing. And have a look to see if we've got a... No, can't really find anything else of any use. We'll have a write-up, a written write-up, obviously, of this review on the website, and all of the intricate details will be up on there, so on italiancar.com.au. So that's pretty much where we're at. We think it looks great. The auto gearbox we're not fans of. We got to drive the manual for about 5 minutes at the official launch, and for that 5 minutes I absolutely loved that car. So it's got everything going for it, plus you've got a 5-speed manual, so you can drive it around and you decide when you change gears. You can do that with this. It's got you can flick the auto stick to plus and minus, but for some reason it sort of doesn't quite feel the same. And this car, unless I'm missing something, doesn't seem to have the little flappy paddles that the 7-speed versions of the Alphas used to have on the steering wheel. So it's just the little gear knob that allows you to change manually if you want to. What else is there to say? I think I might have said earlier on that apron at the front of this car is incredibly low. So if you've got a bit of a difficult driveway to get into, a bit of a bump on the curb there, then you just got to drive over that really slowly, and don't go over any speed bumps at anything more than about 5 kilometers an hour, because it won't like it. And what else is there to say? There we go. You can see I'm an absolute expert at this sort of talking and driving business. Yeah. So look, overall, obviously, I think it's a lovely car. It's a hatchback, so you'll see some photos on the site where we folded the rear seats down, and you don't have to take the headrests off, you just fold them straight down, and it gives you a bit of room in the back if you need it. If you need more room for more people, then go off and get the Giulietta, which is like the slightly bigger version of this, and hopefully we'll be driving the refreshed version of that soon. If you're looking for a sportier drive, at the moment Alfa doesn't really offer you that, but when the 4C comes along, then that, I understand, will be the answer to all your prayers. And the other thing is, I don't know if this is true or not. We've not heard anything from Fiat Chrysler, as in Alfa Romeo Australia, but my understanding is that there will be a cloverleaf version of the MiTo coming out, which I'm guessing will be slightly zipped up in terms of performance. So let's wait and see. In the meantime, for a figure not unadjacent to $23,000, $24,000, I think the one that we would get if we had the money would be that progression manual, which I think comes in at $24,500, and that is a lot of car for not a lot of money, particularly compared to what Alfa used to do. So that's what we think. Let us know what you think in comments on the ItalianCar.com.au website. But until next time in the next car, see you later.